Welcome to another Ampol Sports Film. My name is Peter Whitchurch, and I speak to you as producer of Davis Cup 1956. Believe me, this year that constituted a headache. There were 5 cameramen in touch with me by microphone and earphone, 3 down below and 2 in the center of the southern stand. Every hour, film was rushed from cameraman Frank Pugh on the right to the Sydney plane, and from Stan Pentreath on the left to the Melbourne plane for the Ampol television program in those 2 cities. In line with their policy of bringing big event sports coverage to the motorists of Australia, Ampol's New South Wales manager, well-known sports personality Ted Harris, with the earphones, broadcast over the whole of the Macquarie radio network throughout the 3 days. And now, as a further service to interested motorists, Ampol bring you this film summary of the Challenge Round of 1956. It really begins back in 1954. United States Captain Bill Talbot had just received the Davis Cup from the Governor-General, Sir William Slim. In his speech of thanks, he said,
"We were lucky to win the Challenge Round this year, and we know that next year, when you challenge against us, that we'll have to be on our toes. We recognize the tremendous job you're doing here in Australia with the youngsters of your nation. And we know that if we don't follow a plan similar to yours, it won't be long before that beautiful piece of silver will be sitting here again."
And we won it back in August of that same year. Do you remember Ampol sent Ted Harris to Forest Hills, New York, to bring you a running commentary of the 3 days' events? Actually, Australia won in 2 days. Hoad with Hartwig, not Rosewall, won the doubles. Rosewall beat Seixas, and Hoad beat Trevor in the singles. Talbot was right. Harry Hopman is seen receiving it from Mr. Richard Nixon, the Vice President of the United States. Nearly 18 months were to pass by before the next chapter of the Australian Davis Cup story was to unfold. In beautiful Perth, capital city of Western Australia. The location, Kings Park Courts. The occasion, the 1956 Interzone Final. The contestants, India, winner of the Eastern Zone, and the United States, winner of the American Zone. There was considerable speculation that Krishnan and Kumar of India might cause a major upset by defeating America for the right to challenge Australia. In actual fact, America won in 2 days, and the final result was 4-1. Herbert had turned professional, and Flam had taken his singles berth. Sam Giammalva became Seixas' doubles partner. So, for the 35th time, the United States plays in the Challenge Round. This time, as in 1952, at Riverside Courts, Memorial Drive, Adelaide. Our film unit, hot foot from the Olympic Games, arrived on Christmas Eve. We found the arrangements excellent, thanks to the energies of Secretary-Manager Angus and Assistant Mitchell. Also, thanks to their groundsman, the court was thought to be perfect. Here, lawn tennis officials inspect prior to play. These are the men whose foresight and business ability are responsible for Australia's supremacy in world tennis. These are the men who formed a plan when Kramer gave us that drubbing in 1946. The plan that paid off to the tune of thousands of pounds, and the ascendancy of tennis to the point where it's almost Australia's national sport. On the afternoon of Christmas Day, president of that association, Mr. Donald Ferguson, in the clubhouse of the South Australian Tennis Club, invites the American charge d'affaires from Canberra, Mr. Avery Peterson, to draw an American name from the cup. Thus, the order of play is determined.
Mr. Lewis Hoad, Australia, the Prime Minister, H. Flam of USA in the first singles match of the tie.
Boxing Day 1956, and the sun shines on the River Torrens, on the car-packed parklands, and the fast-filling stands. The flags of 33 nations flutter in a light southwesterly breeze. Prominent guests include the Governor of Victoria, Sir Dallas Brooks, and the Prime Minister, Mr. Menzies, with Sir Norman Brooks on the right and leading Victorian tennis official Norman Strange. 18,000 people pour into totally reserved seats. With dispatch riders standing by, Ampol cameramen are ready as 1:15 approaches. On a given signal, as the Governor of South Australia, Air Vice Marshal Sir Robert George, arrives, the anthems of both countries are played and the curtain goes up on the 45th challenge round. Match 1, Herbert Flam of America versus Lou Hoad of Australia. Flam to serve. A good point. This is Flam's first challenge round. Nervous but keen, he keeps on the move all the time. Note how he's often caught by not getting right into the net. A beautiful backhand placement. Hoad's form had not been too good in the last few matches, and American hopes were pinned on this new player being able to upset him. It's deuce, and Hoad looks confident. A little early for Flam to look so puzzled, but that smooth flow of good placements from a man supposed to be off form would be disconcerting. This is game point. Not a pleasant situation for the American to lose his opening service. If Lou Hoad's in a killer mood, this could be a massacre. Known as a big game player, Hoad has only lost one match in 6 Davis Cup appearances. Hoad didn't seem to be hitting the ball as hard as usual, but he was on the attack all the time. Those first 2 games gave a fair indication of the final result. Hoad had Flam's measure and quickly raced to a 3-1 lead. Flam seemed content to try to keep the ball in play. Let's watch 8th game, 5-2, 15 all. And a beautiful serve. That would explain why Flam stands about 3 yards behind the baseline. A nice return of service, but that power gets Hoad to the net and on the attack. Here's a point that shows Flam at his best. Keen anticipation. And here's another example of the advantage gained by following a power serve into the net. In the second set, Flam had overcome a lot of his nervousness and exchanged opening services comfortably. 1 all, 40-30 as we come in. Watch Hoad. Here's one of the best points of the match. It shows Hoad didn't have it all his own way. Flam clinched it to make the score 2-1. And here's one of the points of the 4th game as Hoad made it 2 all. From 2 all to 3 all, and here's the point that really put paid to Flam's effort in the second set. A lovely shot coming, watch it. Yes, it looked as if it was all over. The world's press representatives, in immediate touch with New York and London, proclaimed the obvious end of the second set and an easy 3-set victory coming up. Just to confound those pressmen, Flam turns on his best effort to date and takes Hoad's service in the opening game, 3rd set. Often, Hoad loses concentration in the middle of a match, or it could be that Flam has spotted a weakness. In any case, Captain Hopman has a few words of wisdom to impart. Note Hoad's undersliced backhand. Flam has found touch and is countering Hoad's net attack with good tossing. That made it 2-love. Hoad made it 2-1 safely, and we come in again for the final point of the fourth game with Flam serving. (3-1), and Hoad had to fight to hold his next service. He made it after 7 deuces. From then on, he seemed to have squashed the fight in Flam. That's not to be wondered at. Hoad really playing well. It's 40-30 in the 6th game as we come in again, and note the lack of power in Flam's overhead. Surely that dejected look acknowledges Hoad's mastery, although the score is only 3-all. Hoad made it 4-3 safely, and we come in on the final point of the 8th game. Newsreel cameraman Lloyd Shields ready for match point on the line. That's it. Game, set, and match. Hoad, always the master, wins 6-2, 6-3, 6-3. Instead of catching Hoad off form, as Captain Talbot had hoped, Herbert Flam found him right on top of his game. Even so, Hoad could not relax, and Flam was by no means disgraced. Captain Talbot said later that the weatherman turned on what Los Angeles often talks about. Certainly, the ladies with bare backs needed extra protection. The second battle was between 2 old opponents, 33-year-old Victor Seixas having his 13th battle with Ken Rosewall. The results are 10-2 in favor of Rosewall. He was on top of his form, but Seixas is always capable of causing an upset. The chances of America winning largely depend on the result of this battle. Seixas to serve from the southern end. Seixas is fit and determined. Rosewall hasn't yet removed his sweat jacket. I'm going right out on a limb by saying that although I think Rosewall won on his merits, I also believe Seixas could have had better luck. See whether you think this next serve was in. Whether that was in or not could make quite a difference. Watch the alternative. Advantage Australia, the second against him after 4 deuces. And so, Rosewall, without even removing his coat, has taken this first game from Seixas. A genuine disappointment. All hope for an even fight. Two-love, and once again, Ken Rosewall proving nemesis to Victor Seixas. Vic is attacking Rosewall's forehand, but not getting results. There's little to be said of that first set. Seixas didn't win a service until the 5th game, and yet he held game point in 5 of the 6 games he lost. Six won the score, and it took only 22 minutes. The first game of the second set showed that from Vic's point of view, it was going to be a different story. He angled well, but Rosewall's court covering was amazing. A good rally coming up. I repeat, not the best of luck for Seixas. When they changed ends, a fast-moving Seixas had no difficulty in making it 1-all. Although each lost a service, there was no real drama until the 10th game. This was the game they're still talking about. It's 40-30 as we come in, and watch Seixas get Rosewall really running. Full marks to Rosewall. He never gives up. Now watch the end of this point closely. See whether you think Seixas' smash was in. That decision seemed to rock Seixas. It took the heart out of him for a moment. Here is perfect proof that you must not relax concentration. Seixas is still thinking about that smash. 5-4, an advantage Australia, remember. Seixas jumped for that a little late, and there goes the second set, 6-4. A strange set that could just as easily have gone the other way. Australian squad member Mal Anderson making his own film record. 1-1, third set as we come in. A beautiful backhand by Seixas, but the solid Australian won his service to make it 2-1, even though he was down 15-40. Plenty of evidence of thirsty weather and strong sun. Third game, third set, and Seixas showing a glimpse of the form that made him Wimbledon champion. Rosewall's recoveries are really remarkable, but he can't be expected to retrieve them all the time. 2-2 it is, and Seixas still on the warpath. Rosewall's lead is too good to cause any real concern at this stage, but Captain Hopman watches closely in order to pass on the tactical changes, if any, on the crossover. Possible service break coming up. Yes, the crowd applauds a fine effort. Actually, this was the only service break in that third set. It was about midnight in New York, but tennis enthusiasts were advised immediately. They went on to a 6-4 result. Judged on the third, there was the possibility of a 5-set struggle. Rosewall had little trouble winning that opening game, fourth set, although he was down love 30 at one stage. A beauty, an ace. And the end of the first game, fourth set. Here's an indication of what happened to the second game. Seixas sparkled a while in the fourth game to make it 3-1, but not long enough to stop the Australians' progress. One came up, and then Rosewall really clinched the deal by taking the American service again. "5-1 the score, and match point on the line. A moment of praise for the little champ, Muscles Rosewall. Undoubtedly the finest stroke maker in the game today. Yes, the second game is over. 6-1, 6-4, 4-6, 6-1. Australia goes to a 2-love lead. Most people had hoped that the first day would finish 1-1, so that the result could not be known until the third day. However, Australia won from 2 down in 1939. Seeing Mr. and Mrs. Hoad Sr. reminds me that we should meet a young lady who was not allowed in the stand, but who nevertheless deserves our attention. I refer to a possible lady tennis giant of the future, Miss Jane Hoad, seen here with Mother Jenny, wife of Lou Hoad. She'll be down again tomorrow to watch that practice for the doubles game. And that next day is fine and clear with the light southwesterly breeze blowing again. As the stands filled, Ted Harris interviewed various sports personalities for the Ampol television program in Sydney and Melbourne. Here, Jake Kramer confirms that he hopes to get Rosewall as a touring professional. And Bill Talbot announces Sam Giammalva, not Flam, as Seixas' partner in the doubles.
That's the wise philosophy, Bill.
No time for more. They're down on court. Let's watch the game. Seixas serving to Ken Rosewall. A tame beginning, but we couldn't expect anything else, really. Yes, without losing a point, Seixas made it 1-love. Hoad to serve next. A lovely placement by Hoad. Here's a moment without parallel in the life of a tennis player. The first time he serves on that sacred challenge round turf. Samuel Giammalva. In his speech later, Sammy said that everything in Adelaide was perfect except one football umpire. Here's his first offense. They seem to be ganging up on Hoad. Game point next. Two-1. And Prime Minister Menzies wants a better look at the fourth and, as it proved, most important game in this first set. It's probably news to many to realize that in 7 years, Hoad and Rosewall have never won a challenge round doubles before. This is their last chance. A perfect return by Giammalva. It's 30-40 as we come in again. A lovely volley by Hoad brings it to deuce. Here's what inevitably happens if they return it to your feet as you run in from serving. Rosewall had to put it up for Seixas to smash. Advantage America, and here's one of the best service returns of the rubber. And virtually the end of that set. Many began to think that there really was a jinx on the Rosewall-Hoad partnership in challenge round matches. Seixas made it 4-1, and then, to everyone's amazement, Hoad too was in trouble on his serve. Over the baseline, and goodbye to that first set. An extraordinary change had come over the game, but it didn't last. You all know that Australia won the next 3 sets, and you will appreciate that we can't very well bring you a full coverage of the 5 matches in a little over half an hour. Instead, as far as the doubles are concerned, we've selected a few indicative points to represent the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th sets. In order to see more, we've speeded it up a bit. Come in, Rosewall. Rosewall lost that first service, second set, but Giammalva immediately did the same. One all. Hoad won his for 2-1. Come in, Seixas. Good anticipation, Lou. 3-1 on the board, Rosewall to serve. And well on the way to 1-set-all. Giammalva to Rosewall. He's certainly not nervous. Giammalva seems to be enjoying himself. High enough for Vic to be sure of it. He's not been too good at that net today. 5-1 is the score, with Hoad left to clinch the set. In the third set, America ran to a 3-1 lead by taking Rosewall's service, but Seixas is struggling. Yes, Sammy makes you smile. 3-2 is the score. All went well to 5-all, then the Texan was again in trouble. Sammy's certainly giving it everything. Watch this return from Rosewall. The third set is in danger if America loses this serve. That clinched it, 7-5. They were equal in the fourth to 4-all, and here's the whole of the final game for 6-4. Australia's 13th Davis Cup victory is very close. Here's game, set, match, and Davis Cup point. That's it. Australia wins the cup, but by no means as easily as had been expected. 1-6, 6-1, 7-5, 6-4. Captain Hopman has been associated with the cup for 7 challenge rounds. We've only lost one of them, a fine record. And to the Americans, congratulations for a grand fight.
Well, normally that would be it. The Davis Cup was won and lost. But on the third day, something happened. A new star was born. We'd already seen him in the doubles, but he shone even brighter against a champion getting ready to leave the amateur ranks. So, if only to live up to an old tradition, the king is dead, long live the king, we bring you set 4 of the Rosewall Giammalva game. Remember, we're starting with the scoreboard showing 4-6, 6-1, 8-6. Sammy Giammalva to serve, and in this first point, watch Rosewall.
Love 15, and you can't beat that kind of return. Rosewall's concentration is in itself a tribute to Giammalva. A nice smash to bring up 15 all. They won a point each for 30 all as we come in again. Hopman said later he had to ensure that Rosewall didn't let up for a second. Sammy made it deuce. Giammalva's overhead was very sound. Advantage Australia. Note Rosewall about 1 pace behind the baseline. Here's a good rally. A well-deserved win. 1-love, 4th set. Rosewall made it 1-all, and here is one of the best points of the match. Shot by Rosewall that fully deserved the byplay from Sammy. He looks almost dejected. dejected as he walks back? Or does it mean, how do you get past this fellow? The next was another good point. Rosewall never knows when he's beaten. A good effort by both. Game point for 2-1 is the next. Giammalva is trying hard. Watch this perfect return of service. .30-15, and Rosewall must concentrate. All. He lost the next as well, and Rosewall really in trouble. 30-40. And there goes Rosewall's service for 3-1. A fine performance by Giammalva. Which in turn has taken the score to 4-1. And the crowd expects a surprise 5-set struggle. The next game makes it even more likely. 5-1 against the ruling champion. But suddenly, Giammalva loses his grip of the set. Watch closely. It's 15-love. Beautiful smash, not easy from corner to corner. Sammy won the next, 30-15. He lost the next to make it 30-40. Quite a dramatic change to lose his service to love with the set within grasp. This is where experience really counts. An eagerness to win pitted against a cold, calculating fighter who knows how to win from here. Rosewall took his own service 5-3, 30-15 in the vital game. An involuntary yell of anxiety. Whatever happens, he's playing well and the crowd are with him. Watch this next return from Rosewall. Just when it was wanted. 30-40 and the pressure right on the American. Watch this next point closely. Giammalva should have let it go at one stage to win it. Let it go, Sammy. Yes, if Sammy had let that go, it would have been deuce instead of 5-4. Even so, it was a well-fought point. Rosewall has only to take his own service to equalize after being down 1-5. And there it is, 5-all. One begins to feel sorry for Giammalva and wonder whether that despondent look is one of tiredness or dejection. Watch this next game closely. It speaks for itself. A lovely return, and Sammy made practically no effort. Rosewall is on top now. Watch him do it again. He's a very tired boy. The hand of the master controls the situation. Game point, and again an example of a dispirited player not taking advantage of his opportunities. Game, and 6-5 to Rosewall goes on the board. Certainly, Giamalva appeared to have eaten up his physical reserve. but nothing should detract from the match-winning tennis produced by Rosewall when required. Here he walks to serve for what was to prove his last game as an amateur. Over the last 5 years, more than 80,000 have watched the tennis twins in challenge round. Match point. Game, set, and match. 4-6, 6-1, 8-6, 7-5. A good fight and a credit to both players. Once more, an opportunity to wish all the best to 22-year-old Muscles in his professional career with Jack Kramer. He's certainly done his part for Australian tennis. And a sincere welcome to the new star. We'll certainly see him again. And now the fifth match. Victor Seixas, 33-year-old mainstay of the United States team, and Lou Hoad, 22-year-old veteran. Hoad's won only 3 of their 8 matches. Today he's encouraged by wife Jenny and 19-year-old brother Larry. Seixas serving. A beauty. Although the cup is won, Hoad is not going to let up. Vic has a tough fight on his hands. But Seixas wins his first game safely. And here, Vic matches that sizzling backhand. They broke each other's service 2-1 and 2-all. Here's another example of Hoad's improved backhand. Lou broke through again for 3-2, and determined, he has no intention of easing up on Seixas. He's slamming home that big first service with deadly accuracy. A beautiful ace, not the last in the pack either. That first set went to Australia 6-2. Lou certainly reacting to family encouragement. I don't blame you, Vic. When Lou's in form, he's tough to beat, but don't underrate Seixas. Hoad didn't have it all his own way. They raced through to 5-all in the second set. A good fight with Hoad a bit toey. Apparently, that was not according to plan. That look of disgust speaks volumes. The break came in that 11th game, 6-5, and Hoad really put paid to Seixas' hopes in the next game. Yes, 6-5, and Lou lets go an exhibition of power serving. 15-love, and Vic's not too happy. $30-love, with more to come. Seixas knows what to expect when Hoad is getting these first serves in, but there's little he can do. You can't anticipate much when they can either come sizzling down the middle or way out wide to the forehand. Stand by. 40-love with one to come, and watch its speed. So there it is, 7-5 and the second set to Australia. No one suggests Vic played badly. Hoad struck a purple patch. The third set followed the same pattern. The break came in the third game. perfect and a fitting introduction to game, set, and match point. Five love to Australia, and Hoad beats Seixas for the 4th time out of 9 battles, and for the 3rd time in a challenge round. On those figures alone, Hoad justifies his reputation as a big game player. Don't let those figures fool you. Vic Seixas put up his usual good fight in a game that could be his farewell to Davis Cup tennis. So the 45th challenge round is over. Australia wins for the 13th time. Not an unlucky 13th, we hope. The stands have been packed for 3 days, not a vacant seat. Now the 18,000 spectators settle down to watch the final moment. Teams and officials circle that beautiful piece of silver, the Davis Cup, given 56 years ago by American Dwight F. Davis for annual international competition. Allowing for the broadcast, President Mr. Donald Ferguson is heard by several millions as he thanks those responsible, and then...
Now ask His Excellency, Air Vice Marshal Sir Robert George, present the Davis Cup to Captain Harry Hopman, the captain of the Australian team. Thank you.
Only Britain, France, America, and Australia have ever won the Davis Cup. As Captain Harry Hopman takes possession, a moment's pause to include a thought for the other 31 nations who took part this year. This year, 1956, Olympic year. A great year for events that link the world in the unspoken language of sport. A great year for the language of friendship and goodwill.